upside down? I don't like when oh, awesome, thank you. Thank you. Will it stay? I think so. Okay. Did you know that the youngest serial killer currently on death row committed his crimes in Allentown, Pennsylvania? Good evening. I'm here to introduce you to a few monsters unleashed and give you some psychology behind those monsters. The term serial killer was first used in the 1930s, and most famous serial killers do come from broken families. I've done my research on serial killers on several different websites. Whatever the reason, it is a fact that the crimes, or rather the acts of these monsters, has shook our society to its core. I will first tell you about the psychology behind the monsters and then introduce you to a few. First, let me tell you the psychology behind the monsters. The term serial killer was first used in the 1930s in Europe. It was brought here to the United States in the 1970s by a former FBI agent named Robert Ressler. And according to Buzzle.com, the term serial killing is defined as a series of 3 or more killings, one having been committed within the United States, having common characteristics such as to suggest a reasonable possibility that the crimes were committed by the same actor or actors. They have a specific way of killing their victims. Usually they will stalk them, rape them, murder them, sometimes performing necrophilia on them, which is acts with a corpse. They don't kill anyone just randomly. There is definitely a method to the monster's madness. The FBI is currently doing psychological profiling, and that is the way that they're starting to capture these monsters. Most of the famous serial killers do come from broken families, or they were physically or sexually abused in their childhood. Oftentimes they have feelings of abandonment, frustration, worthlessness. They definitely have a mental disorder. They live a rich imaginary life where they are superior and powerful. They look like a normal guy next door. Your next door neighbor could be a monster unleashed. Now that you have some background information on the killers, let me tell you some of our famous serial killers. Let's take a look at our male serial killers. Harvey Robinson, Miguel. He is from Allentown, Pennsylvania, and he is currently the youngest serial killer on death row. He committed 3 of his kills before the age of 18. He was convicted and sentenced in 1994, and in 1996 there was a film starring Joanna Kearns that was loosely based on his killings. We have Ted Bundy. He was one of the most feared monsters in United States history. He was an honor student. He held a bachelor's degree in psychology. He used his good looks to lure his victims in. He would rape them, murder them, and then he would perform necrophilia with them. He was convicted of 28 murders, suspected of 33, but eventually admitted to 100. He was arrested in 1978 and given the electric chair in 1989. His famous quote, "We serial killers, we are your sons, we are your husbands, we are everywhere, and there will be more of your children dead tomorrow." Thank you, Ted Bundy. Now, for some female serial killers, such as Nannie Doss and Aileen Wuornos. First, we have Nannie Doss. She was termed the giggling granny by biography.com. She killed 11 people between 1920 and 1954. Her 2 sisters, her 2 children, her nephew, her grandson, her mother, and her 4 husbands. She was given life in prison in 1955, but she died 10 years later of leukemia. And now we have Aileen Lee Wuornos. She was a prostitute. She shot and killed 7 of her Johns. She stated they deserved to die. She herself died of lethal injection in 2002. And if you've ever seen the movie Monster starring Charlize Theron, that was based on her kills. So as you can see, men and women alike can be monsters unleashed. And to summarize this all up for you, behind every monster, as each victim becomes a target, one after another lies a reason. Either they have a mental illness or they harvest pure hatred and rage due to their past, their childhood, or even just certain events. Now, I'm not going to say that these reasons are justified because of who they are and what they've been through in their life, but it does give us something to think about. Their illness, their hate, their rage, their disorder, or behavioral problems make the issues pull into the public. If you would like more information about serial killers, you can visit websites such as biography.com or buzzle.com. And after this, when you're walking down the streets of Allentown, I hope you look behind you because it could be an unleashed monster. Thank you.